The ANC's National Executive Committee will sit for a special meeting on corruption this weekend. A letter doing the rounds claims that the party's Secretary-General Ace Magashule has been summoned over to appear on comments on corruption. Now, the appointment of the former eThekwini Mayor Zandile Gumede is also likely to dominate discussions at that meeting. Pooe is a political analyst at the Northwest University, and he joins us now from Pretoria. Dr. Pooe, thank you very much for your time. I want to begin by asking you, in your considered view, do you think that Ace Magashule will lead by example and present himself before the Integrity Commission?
Oh, thanks for having me. I think that's an interesting question, especially the way you phrase it by saying lead by example by going to the commission, because as the Secretary General, I think he'll probably ask the question, why is he being brought there, and under what situation should he actually bring himself under the Integrity Commission? Because if you have read his comments, especially as it relates to the commission, you know, there's still a bit of questions about what does the Integrity Commission's powers actually constitute. So I read the ANC's 54th Congress report, and all they can basically do is just make recommendations to the NEC. So it'll be interesting. I think he'll probably stand and say, but what recommendations are you making in relation to me, and which you've not made about other people?
Let's move on then and talk about another interesting character, and that is Zandile Gumede, the former eThekwini Mayor. The president asked directly by the leader of the main opposition whether or not he supports the decision to send her to the provincial parliament despite her facing tender fraud charges. Well, the president's response, I'm not sure if you did hear it. If you didn't, I've got it, and actually, let's play it for you before you give us your sense.
The matter is being discussed within the structures of the African National Congress. That matter, that has caused, yes, admittedly, everybody agrees it has caused quite a lot of disquiet, and the matter is being discussed within the structures of the African National Congress in a very democratic manner, and leave it to those structures to deal with the matter.
TK, the fact that he could not come out and say it was wrong, should not have happened, and perhaps it will be reversed, what does it signal?
Well, it signals, I think, what everybody should have seen as it relates to the president and the ANC, that when it comes to corruption, or let's say allegations, let be kind, allegations of corruption, it really is not a clear-cut case. It's about who's got power at that time and moment. And what cannot be denied is that Ms. Zandile Gumede does have a level of power within the ANC, which seems to protect her from just normal questions and normal repercussions of someone's actions like that.
Then, of course, we have Kebi Mapatwe and his MK-MVA comrades telling the nation last week that the NEC is paralyzed as a result of factionalism. I want to know from you, if that is indeed the case, should we expect any decisive action from this special meeting of the NEC this weekend?
I think they say history is a predicate of what tends to happen, and I think we've asked this question numerous times when it comes to the ANC of President Cyril Ramaphosa, and the obvious answer is paralysis is going to be the norm, and paralysis is going to be the guiding force going forward. We can expect a statement on Sunday or whenever they decide to come out that's going to read unity of the party, have to put South Africa first, we're going to have more deliberations going forward, we'll return to you at a later date.
You're not being very optimistic, are you? Then, of course, I think your comments, they link me perfectly to COSATU this week, coming out of their CEC meeting and, frankly, fed up with the president about the very statements that you make, that we're going to be tough on corruption. COSATU is very clear. We are tired of you and your letters. We actually want more action. What's your reading of that relationship?
Well, I think COSATU, as always, seems to come to the party late because they seem to be part and parcel of the problem. Because if I'm not mistaken, are they not the very same people that were at the forefront of getting this president and the previous president into power? So it really asks the question, when they do push these people forward, do they have actual plans to say, listen, we're putting you forward, but this is an action plan that by X date you want this and that? And I just have to maybe put this out at the forefront. Issues of corruption within the ANC have actually I think they do a disservice to us as South Africans because they actually take us away from actually measuring what government is supposed to be doing, which is looking at things such as unemployment, the fact that our communities are just bereft right now of actual capital. And the ANC, it just seems to be this paralysis. It didn't just start with President Cyril Ramaphosa, but it's just the ANC of post-1994 that they just don't know how to get to the grips of governing and governing themselves, more importantly.
Dr. TK Pooe, thank you very much for making time to talk to us this morning. He is a political analyst with the University of the Northwest.